Okay, we're back. What are we gonna do? You know what? I'm not awake. I got 3 notes I need to read. Let's read them, because it's starting to become particularly relevant, and I'm not, like I said, not awake yet. So, it's been a month since my sister's death and subsequent revival, even though I haven't found the answer to my question. My six-year-old big sister who revived as a clone, an extension of the sister I knew before, or is she someone else entirely? My thoughts simply went in circles without any progress, and time pointlessly passed by. My sister went through periodic examinations as a test subject and seems to be tasked with various jobs in her free time. Seems to be. It doesn't concern me. Since that day, I haven't spoken to or communicated with my 6-year-old big sister for more than absolutely necessary. Her memories are still overwritten with fake ones. Seeing her excitedly talk about clones is maddening. It feels like liquid nitrogen is being poured into the back of my head. What do I do? Without ever finding an answer, the day when I would have executed my plan had arrived. Without killing anyone, finding answers, or getting the remaining 10% of Dr. Terashima's data, 2 months had passed since the day I was supposed to enact my plan. My country must have lost their patience from all my reports showing no progress, because they informed me they'd be sending in a new spy. It was over. If a new spy came in, they'd find out my sister had died and come back to life as a clone. Then, regardless of what I think of her, she'd have to be killed. There's no way my country would allow my clone sister to continue living. I couldn't possibly hide what happened to my sister when the new spy arrives. What in the world was I supposed to do? I couldn't rely on my sister. She was the source of all my troubles in the first place. Should I talk to Dr. Terashima? Not a chance. It wouldn't even make sense to do so. All I could think of were impossible ideas. Then time was up. The new spy sent for my country had arrived. Thank you for the introduction. I'm Adelina Aveline. I'd never seen her before. She must be from a different spy organization than my father's. I majored in cytology and mainly studied the stable production of cow clones via egg fertilization. I look forward to working with all of you. Adelina, the new researcher, should I say the new spy, bowed her head after giving the same introduction I had given long ago. She doesn't seem to be very good at faking expressions. Her lips were curled in the shape of a smile, but her eyes were as cold as ice. Olga, I don't have many tasks for you today. Why don't you show her around the facilities? I ended up showing Adelina around as per Dr. Terashima's request. I wondered if this woman knows she was sent here because I haven't made any progress in my spy work. If she did, I doubt she had any positive feelings towards me. I felt incredibly uncomfortable. Just as Dr. Terashima once did, I went on prattling and explaining things no one talked about. Many newcomers wonder why these facilities were made underwater. I was first told it's because it's cool, but it's actually because the temperature adjustments required for the experiments are better done underwater. Adelina didn't even nod in response to my explanations. She just stared in the ocean on the other side of the acrylic glass. I take it you don't like talking to people very much, Adelina. No, it's not that. Adelina shot a look at me. Don't you get it? That's not what I want to talk about. Hurry up and prepare an environment where we can get to the real subject. That's what her look said to me. I pretended not to notice and continued on with pointless explanations about the facilities when she suddenly raised her voice. Would you mind showing me your room, Olga? We can discuss the real subject there. That's what she was trying to tell me. I hadn't mentally prepared myself yet, but there was no point in delaying the inevitable here. I had no choice but to face her head on. As if set my resolve, and as if in resignation, I gave her a small nod. Then I turned my heel and started leading her to my room. Olga! I had the worst possible voice I could hear at the moment. My 6-year-old big sister came jogging over from the end of the corridor in her lab coat that was clearly too big for her. Adelina frowned. And she is? Oh, you must be a newcomer who came in today. I'm sorry I couldn't make it to your orientation. Nice to meet you. I'm Olga's older sister. Oh, you must think it's odd that she has an older sister who looks like this. My 6-year-old big sister explained what happened to her, and why she was wearing a lab coat looking like a little child. We look forward to working with you. She bowed in such deference it was hard to believe it's coming from a 6-year-old. Adelina's frown deepened. What's the meaning of this? Adelina yelled, without any regard for the possibility of someone listening in. As soon as we entered the room, she put her hand around my neck and violently slammed me into a wall. I was immediately winded and felt a sharp pain in the back of my eyes. Wait, I said faintly, but my words didn't reach her ears. Adelina barked at me, glaring at me with bloodshot eyes. What the hell was that? What did she mean she died? What did she mean she came back to life? The reason for her anger was, of course, due to my sister's revival as a clone. Why was she revived as a clone when she was sent here to wipe out cloning technology? Why did she go out for wool and come back shorn? Wire tap. I moved my mouth without saying a word. This room could be bugged after all. I couldn't talk about it out loud. Adelina clicked her tongue irritably and pushed me away as she released the hand around my neck. I could feel the oxygen returning to my lungs. Specks of light seemed to flicker in the back of my eyes. I crumpled to the ground and began coughing uncontrollably. Without hesitation, Adelina grabbed my collar and forced me to stand up. She then picked up the notepad next to my phone and slammed it onto the desk. I couldn't escape. But despite that, I didn't want to face reality head-on. Gently, subtly, I'd bend the truth in my favor. I wouldn't mention my sister's intentions in her revival as a clone. The X key embedded in her stomach was put there against her will. I continued telling these lies that could be exposed at any time. Adelina let out a loud sigh. You sisters are worthless. I could almost hear her saying it without using any words. Then, as if to say this is the final question, she glared at me. Why did you hide this? Why didn't I report my sister's death and revival to my country? What kind of question is that? I hid it so this wouldn't happen. I wanted to avoid the situation in which my country confirmed what happened to my sister and had no choice but to kill her. But, of course, I couldn't just say the truth. I was afraid of my country thinking lesser of me. Adelina sighed again, even deeper this time. Just then a thought crossed my mind. If I kill this woman right now, my sister and I could... I pretended not to notice the terrible option that just sprang into my head. Adelina was right, and I was the one who was wrong. I know this sounds conceited, but I'm absolutely certain my sister and I are among the top 10 best spies in our country. We are a product of long years of training, rather than a talent we were born with, and my sister and I, well, at least I have a sense of pride for my own abilities. It wouldn't be a stretch to say half the reason and value of my own existence is in my job as a spy. I am me because I am a spy, and I'm a spy because I am me. But Adelina is also quite skilled as a spy, even when compared to my sister and me. She executed her missions with machine-like calmness, and even succeeded in obtaining the remaining 10% of Dr. Tereshima's data, which I had yet to do. She slept with him, just as I had. Adelina informed me with an unchanging expression. She had slept with Dr. Tereshima and found an opportunity soon after. Then she completed the task without issues. There's nothing in the remaining 10% of the data that would be cause to postpone our mission. To be honest, I didn't like that one bit. She could have discussed it with me first, as that was supposed to be my mission. It was all clear as day that Adelina didn't trust me at all. Oh, it was clear as day. It had been 3 days after she took the remaining 10% of Dr. Tereshima's data. Adelina suddenly came to my room and brazenly told me with a written message. I had a discussion with our people and we came to a decision. About what? I gave her a puzzled expression and Adelina wrote 3 numbers. It was a date, 1 month from today. What else? The day we execute the plan. Adelina told me there was no need to investigate further. That was the day we would massacre everyone in the facility. The plan was simple. There was a facility-wide assembly held every Tuesday. We'd detonate pipe bombs where the majority of the staff members would gather, killing everyone there. Then one by one, we would kill everyone else who didn't attend the assembly. After that, we'd have plenty of time to destroy all the data and products of the clone research to the point where they would become completely unrecoverable. Adelina and I would escape into the ocean with a ship, then blow up the Mani facility with dynamite just in case. There are detailed procedures for each of those steps, but the mission itself is easier than a high-hurdle race, with all the hurdles removed. We'd already confirmed there are no other professionals within the facility that could oppose us. The explosives and firearms required for the mission were slowly smuggled into Mani by my sister before I joined. All that was left was to press the switch. All that was left was to pull the trigger. Everything was already in place. I simply needed to mentally prepare myself. Killing my 6-year-old big sister was no big deal. I feigned indifference. No, that wasn't good enough. I needed to bring myself to think that way and believe it. I've been trained many times to separate my personal feelings from the missions. I've killed countless people I didn't even hate. I've slept with countless people I didn't even love. It was all for this day. All those days of hellish training were all for this very day. In my bed, the restroom, walking down the hall behind Dr. Tereshima, while sleeping with Dr. Tereshima, I spent every moment shooting down my anxiety and uncertainty. Is your 6-year-old big sister and a different person from my sister? Yes, the creation of life is a privilege reserved only for God. A clone couldn't possibly be my sister. The questioning felt like a form of self-harm. So you should kill her then. Yes, I should. Everything related to clone research is a blight upon this world. Felt like I was killing a part of myself. Would you still have killed her if her memory wasn't impaired? Of course, everything related to clone research is a blight upon the world. Her memory is of little importance. Nausea. Do you think you should kill her yourself? Yes, I do. Despair. How can you be sure you won't regret it? I won't. Even if I did, that would be completely insignificant to the world. Rejection. Is cloning truly a sin? Cloning is absolutely a sin. As I repeated this line of questioning in my head, all anxiety and uncertainty inside me disappeared without a trace. Now I was ready. I had obtained a heart of iron. I galvanized myself by repeating it over and over. But it turned out I was struggling to control myself far more than I had realized. Just as we were about to go to bed as usual, Dr. Terashima kissed me once and then said, "You've been looking a little pale lately." "It's nothing. Your sister's been worried too. She said you seem to be very troubled by something lately." "Well, you can always talk to me if something's wrong. I'm your superior and lover, after all." Wasn't he a smooth one? What a load of crap. After having slept with Adelina, Dr. Terashima didn't know that I knew about their little relationship. I say relationship, but they'd only slept together 3 or 4 times, and Adelina was giving him the slip ever since she retrieved the data she needed. I'd been physical with him many more times than she had, and the level of intimacy in our relationship was far deeper, but ridiculous. What was I even trying to compete for? Self-esteem? A woman's ego? It was all useless to me. Anything that wasn't needed for the job would be shot down with the logic of God. I'd shaped my heart into that of a spy. Ever since Adelina came to Mani, my sister and I had grown further apart than ever. I continued avoiding her. The trick to controlling your own heart is to face your anxiety and uncertainty head on. I understood that, but I was afraid if I talked to her, all the words I'd been shooting down in my head could change shape and turn on me. Just woke up. This is earlier than I normally record, but I got E3 to record co-stream today, and if I don't do this now, we don't get an episode today. So instead you get sleepy Reedy. Anyway, I avoided her all this time because I thought it would be better to avoid seeing her until the day of the plan, rather than risk facing those emotions. But 3 days before the day we'd planned to execute the plan, my 6-year-old big sister came to see me in my room. I come so close to asking her to leave because I didn't feel like talking to her at the moment. But when I saw her looking afraid that I'd deny her, I couldn't bring myself to spit out the words. I invited her into my room and put a cup of tea on the table for her. Sorry to barge in so suddenly. It's okay, but what is it? Nothing in particular, but lately, ever since Adelina came, I guess, you seem even more downcast than before. You think so? If something's bothering you, I wish you'd tell me about it. No, nothing's. I'm your sister, Olga. You may think so, but that's not how I see you. You're not my big sister. I already decided that. But despite that, or maybe because of that, because this 6-year-old big sister in front of me isn't my sister, because she's just a stranger, because of that, I decided to ask her. What if, hypothetically speaking, yeah? I knew I shouldn't, but I couldn't stop myself. Far, far away from Japan, there's a country with a religious outlook that directly denounces cloning technology. The higher-ups of that country realized cloning experiments were being done in this facility, so they sent a certain woman to work as a spy. The woman believed in the country's religion without question and continued her spy efforts with pride. But one day someone very dear to her died. But that person came back to life thanks to that sinful cloning technology. Because of that, a part of her had been saved. The girl began questioning whether the religion she believed in was right. Or more like, she began wondering what she was supposed to think about clones. She just didn't know anymore. Yeah. And how do I say this? If you were to talk to that girl, what would you tell her? My sister put her hand to her lips and lowered her eyes. Then her lips barely moved as she spoke in barely audible voice. I'm sorry. What? Sorry, this is just so sudden. I can't imagine what that would be like. Oh. That's what she meant by sorry. Of course. My 6-year-old big sister lost her memories and had no idea she abandoned her mission as a spy for me to complete mine. There was no way I would get the apology part of me so greatly desired. Last one. The night before the day we executed the plan, Adelina and I had a final meeting in my room to go over the details. On the table was the usual notepad, 4 pistols including some spares, the detonation device for the pipe bombs we'd already set in the gathering hall, and the detonation device for the dynamite that would blow Monty to smithereens. Adelina didn't write anything in the notepad, instead picking up 2 of the pistols and placing them in front of me. Then she moved everything else to her side of the table. I only had 2 pistols, while Adelina got everything else. Huh? What kind of distribution is this? I furrowed my brows with the thought in my mind. Adelina stared into my eyes as she wrote in the notebook with a pen. Sorry, but I don't trust you. I'm afraid you'll suddenly change your mind about the plan over your feelings for your sister. Worst case, you might even betray our country and defect to this side. Change my mind. Betray my country and defect to Mani? The thought had never even crossed my mind. The hell did you think I was struggling with all this time? Why do you think I was going through the torment of trying to brainwash myself every day? Just what part of me have you been observing all this time? I couldn't even be bothered to try and justify myself. It was only natural for Adelina to be cautious of me. I knew I'd given her enough reasons to suspect me because of my past actions. I gave a small reluctant nod, then stuck the guns I was given into the holster around my waist. Well, our discussion here was done. That was what Adelina's tight-lipped expression told me as she got up and left. After confirming the sound of the door closing, I began thinking about tomorrow. Dr. Terashima decided whether or not he'd attend the facility-wide assembly depending on how he was feeling that day. The bomb would take care of him if he attended, or Adelina would take him out with a bullet to the head if he didn't. My sister had a periodic examination to go to, so she wouldn't be at the assembly. She was confirmed to be targeted by Adelina. We divided up the task of shooting anyone who wouldn't be at the assembly, and Adelina was in charge of both Dr. Terashima and my sister. And that reason, of course, was so I wouldn't get any funny ideas, so I wouldn't start talking nonsense, so I wouldn't get swayed by my stupid emotions. Ha! She had such little trust for me, I couldn't help but laugh. I wouldn't trust me either. Adelina was right. She should suspect the suspicious. I've been struggling to kill my emotions all this time, but just like Adelina, I didn't trust my own heart. I sighed and decided to do maintenance on my gun to take my mind off my predicament. I took out the Boston bag. My sister had put all her guns and equipment in for the plan. From there, I took the small aluminum case containing the firearm maintenance tools. Huh? I was short one silencer. Before Adelina got here, there were 4 silencers for 4 guns, but now there were only 3 in the bag. This mission would be carried out after the explosion, so we wouldn't be needing the silencers this time. So why? Adelina. Adelina didn't trust me. I wouldn't be surprised if she decided to eliminate the root of what could make me turn my back on the plan. My 6-year-old big sister and Dr. Terashima. Adelina must be planning to kill them tonight before the plan would be set in motion, and she didn't want me to find out. That's why she took the silencer. I took a deep breath. Adelina was going to kill my 6-year-old big sister and Dr. Terashima tonight. So what if she did? It wasn't a problem. So what if tomorrow people died today instead of tomorrow? In fact, a couple of factors that could be troubling me tomorrow would be eliminated early. I should be happy. Fright. I'd thank Adelina tomorrow. I didn't like her very much until now, but I appreciated her thoughtfulness this time around. Thanks. Yeah, that's what it was. No reason to feel troubled. None at all. That should be the case, but my heart overpowered my logic. Before I knew it, I leapt out of my room and ran towards my sister's room. My hunch was right. I found the door to my sister's room wide open. From the opening, I could see a horrible scene I'd pictured in my head earlier. My 6-year-old big sister sitting on her bed with a fearful expression on her face. Adelina standing before her with a gun pointed right at her. Adelina clicked her tongue and turned around to face me. Just as she did, I leapt at her. Wait! What is there to wait for? We tumbled to the floor. I got on top of Adelina, and then she ended up on top of me. We fought to mount each other like a scene in a Hollywood movie. From the corner of my eye, I saw my sister watching us with a pale expression. In our struggle, Adelina aimed her silencer at me. A moment before she fired, I knocked it out of her hands with a swift chop. I mounted Adelina once again, then pressed down to crush both her shoulders with my hands to end this futile battle for the mount. Suddenly my brain was heavily rattled inside my head. Adelina's fist had connected directly to my left cheek. I lost consciousness. The tables had turned in an instant. The shock of my head hitting the ground jolted me back to reality. Adelina was now on top of me. Her legs were securely holding down my arms. She had me completely under control. Adelina stared me down with an icy glare. Wordlessly, she pulled a gun out from my own holster. She pressed the barrel against my head. I had a feeling it would end like this. With those final words, she pressed the trigger without a shred of hesitation. Adelina then fell to the ground, bleeding from the side of her head. Huh? Why? Why did Adelina die instead of me? The sudden flood of information was too much for me to process, and the falling Adelina seemed to move in slow motion. I looked in the direction of Adelina's wound had come from. My 6-year-old big sister was holding a gun with a silencer in her hand. I'm sorry. Why did she apologize? Why was she aiming at Adelina? Oh, because we're sisters and I was almost killed. But how was she so calm after shooting someone? My 6-year-old big sister lowered her gun and looked at me sadly. There wasn't a hint of confusion towards the current situation in her expression. The situation Adelina and I were in. The intentions Adelina and I had. Her calm expression told me she understood all of that. Big sister? I'm sorry. I'm not asking you to apologize. I remember everything. Huh? She went on with calm, unlit eyes and a mature expression that could not possibly be mistaken for that of a 6-year-old. You of all people must have noticed, Olga, that for some reason I lost my memories as a spy after being revived as a clone. That my memory was impaired. Huh? Wait a minute. But that was all a lie. I remembered it all, everything. I was only pretending to forget. What are you saying? My accidental death was arranged by me too. It was a suicide. I had decided for myself and killed myself. I had realized there was a possibility of that, but I didn't put much thought to it because I thought it would be an insult to my sister. It just wasn't realistic, but unfortunately my instincts were right. Why? I couldn't help but ask. I already knew most of the truth, but I couldn't imagine the words were about to come out of my sister's mouth. I didn't want to know the awful truth. I'd rather stay ignorant, but still I had to ask. Why? Why did she choose suicide? Because I didn't know anymore. I didn't know if my religious views were right or whether I should carry out the plan, so I wanted to make sure. Since I had an X key implanted already, I'd probably be revived as a clone. Then I would know for myself. If I was revived as a clone, would I still be me, or someone else entirely? Was cloning technology truly the work of the devil like we thought? Then, what did you find out? What did you see after confirming for yourself? I was still me. That was why. That was why my sister wept so uncontrollably after being revived as a clone. Those weren't tears of relief from finding out she didn't die, nor were they tears of joy for our reunion. She was left with no choice but to deny the religion she had believed in. Those were tears of despair from that horrible realization. I was still me. All my thoughts, feelings, and memories were still within the new me. My new body didn't feel right at first, but that was it. Only the container changed. Everything else was still me. I couldn't have faith in my own religion anymore. I went through the trouble of dying, so it would have been nice to be revived as someone else. There were tears in my big sister's eyes. Then, if I wasn't me, I couldn't work with you again to do what I needed to do. Things wouldn't have to change. I'm sorry for running away. I couldn't move forward or backward. I just ran away by pretending to lose my memories. I pushed everything onto you and made you suffer. Now I understood. I finally understood the reason my father tried appointing me as the first one to infiltrate Moni. He must have recognized the perilous position she was in. He knew this could happen someday. He knew she would try to find out for herself. He knew she would try to run away. But it was too late for me to realize all this. My beloved sister was crying in front of my eyes. There was only one thing I can say to her. It'll all be okay. Even though there was no reason to believe that. Even though nothing really was okay. Even though we had no idea what the future would hold. Even now I tried getting through this situation with irresponsible words. It'll be okay. Ugh. My sister crouched down on the floor and wailed as if she was actually a child. Yeah, I was thinking, over the course of reading this, we should probably save. Why is it so loud today? I guess I'm gonna save over this. Was there an update that changed the volume? I was wondering about this. Because I, actually had to... Yeah. There's an update that changed the volume sliders. I was really curious. Okay. Let's see. So, this is back before Zen and everybody else died. I think I'm going to keep to that. Well, I have no choice.
I'll hold that. There's something here.
Let's see. Extend machine proposal plan regarding revival and eternal life. Oh, there's something more.
Let's have a look, shall we?
It says caution regarding the medical equipment development room.
Nice.
Okay. We get a partition.
Ready?
Full power.
They won't get away.
Ready?
Okay. I guess let's just mess up her arm. They'll have to take Zen out of the mix pretty quick, but that's okay. Nope, nope, she's just dead.
Let's take this. What's this?
Let's see. Cleone are too dangerous. They should be taken out first.
Well, well.
Okay.
Are we?
So this is actually the one we'd want to drop down to. Do we do it? Yeah, let's actually find out what's on the other side of this. We'll come back, because some of my characters are starting to get kind of hungry anyway. That was it?
Haven't we gone yet?
Literally just a button. I'm a little disappointed.
Let's check the map.
I'm not going to deny.
North is up.
Do we keep falling?
Found it.
Oh, don't forget the very end.
What's this?
There's an important place ahead.
There's something here.
Here.
Gold.
Okay. So now we've filled out that part of the map. Okay.
I'll hold.
Yeah, so we're not getting any more bird beaks, unfortunately. Are we back at the beginning? No, we're not.
We need this, right? Let's
Yeah,
take
unfortunately, I think if I want to get bird beaks, I'm gonna have to go. I'm gonna have to go to higher difficulty. But yeah, let's feed these characters and let's clear out this last zone. I'm probably gonna get Weeping Angeled. Though they really are not nearly as common on this difficulty. Thank you, multi-slash.
The next destination is...
Oh. We're not done yet. Alright. Well, I could just return to base. No, thank you. I guess he was not paying attention to how far he was in the game.
Let's check the map.
Oh, there's still a door here.
Where haven't we gone yet?
Watch out.
It's closed, huh?
Huh.
I'll take it. Fatika will hold it. I'll take it.
Okay.
Starve.
I'll take it.
Party formation. Just switch in Rinko. We don't need to get everything here. Oh. He had the trowel. But yeah, we've got a whole bunch of fire axes and a bunch of other things that we can grab.
This might be...
And yeah, I'm not going to be able to finish everything by today. So we're just going to go back and prep.
I'll hold this. I'll get it.
See if I can do anything with those fire axes. And then at some point I'll figure out how the hell to get into some of these rooms. Because yeah, apparently I can't. I'm sorry that getting through this area is actually like really quite time consuming. But, I mean, I guess it should be kind of mildly expected.
Whoa.
Oh, they're so durable. And they're so quiet, too. Like, I think I'd mind less if they weren't, like, ridiculously quiet, maybe? Because half the time they just show up behind me and just start murdering. It's a bit of a pain. Okay. So let's go back. We might as well rest.
Hey.
Grab some food. Do some other things. Let's see. Do we... No, let's not save over that one. I've done a little bit. Okay.
Ow!
So everybody's pretty hungry. I guess let's drop off stuff first. That's first order of business. So we don't need the medicine anymore. Okay, so we've still got the net, the fishing rod, the shovel, and 1 fire axe. Whoops. How's this doing? Oh, still plenty of space. That's good. Okay. So I could make a chain wood hammer. I don't really know if there's much of a point in doing so. That's... yeah, let's take a look at the other things. So we still need more laundry poles if I want to make another naginata. Obviously, we don't have any more replica claymores. Nail knuckles would be kind of nice. I think we actually have to upgrade this again. Yeah, I could make a better bow. Let's see, what about armor? Where are we at? We are not. I guess at this point I could make sexy lingerie or a white fundoshi. As long as I don't... oh, none of these require a ruby.
Tools need love, too.
Okay. Terrible defense, female equipment, passion, and stamina source. Survival guide. What does passion do? Increases life and enemies become slightly slower. Cripes. Let's see. We should probably grab some food. Everybody is starving. Oh, right. Let's see. Well, we've got an insane amount of roasted rabbits. So let's do the obvious thing.
Well, I don't think.
Not bad. It's important to eat properly.
Amazing.
Not bad at all. I'm stuffed.
Okay, party formation. So Zen is starving, but I don't think he's going to take any damage while he's here. And she's not hungry in the slightest.
Pretty good. Appreciate the meal.
Okay, so next up we want to drop off those. Grab like a smidge of jerky.
That's all right.
Not bad.
Okay. So that should solve our bathroom problems. And then I guess let's just rest. Let's see. Bunkmates. Let's see. I guess we don't need the drop up as much. I'd like it, but I'm gonna need that when I have Haruto and we can go on a harder difficulty. I think that's just the baseline option I should go with. Rinko, isn't this exciting? It's like we're having a slumber party. Huh? I guess you're right. It is like a slumber party. Sachika's never had one before. What kind of things did you talk about at a slumber party?
True.
Usually we talked about things like who we liked, who we... This really takes me back. Let's talk about that, Rinko. Who do you like most on Garage Island? What? I never really thought about it. This is a bit sudden. Sachika likes everyone. Yeah, but I think that's a bit different. It's the kind of thing you can only talk about with other girls, like having a crush on a certain boy. Oh, I want to hear about that. Which boy did you have a crush on? Yes, then I have a story. Yay! It's really not that interesting, though, and it was such a long time ago. No, I really want to know. Really, then... I think it was a bit before the first summer break in middle school. There was a boy named Makoto who sat next to me, and I just thought of him as a friend, but one day after class he called me out to the roof of the school. He was acting differently than usual, so I was wondering what was going on. Then he suddenly confessed his feelings for me. What happened next? By the way, I've never mentioned this, but the grid, the text does not align to the grid in the background and it bothers me, like, intensely. It truly doesn't matter, but it bugs me all the same. Because I like to write on graph paper, actually, as like a notebook, and just, yeah, this bugs me. I just, like, want to move it up just a little bit. You might notice I, like, hover my cursor over the dots, too. I don't know, it's just a thing. But anyway, what happened next? Well, Sorry, never mind, I can't do this. What? Rinko, where are you going? How am I supposed to sleep with that cliffhanger? Okay, good night. Yes, good night. What's wrong? Is there something on my face? No, that's not it. I feel like I've seen you somewhere before. You sure? I got a pretty common-looking face. Ah, I remember. You're on an agriculture show that was broadcast nationwide, weren't you? Along with that agriculture idol. It was, but I'm surprised you even watched that show. I don't want to bother explaining, so don't mention it to the others. My lips are sealed, don't worry. I don't go out of my way to spread gossip. But why did you end up appearing on TV? I know you're not into that sort of thing. Oh, it would have negatively impacted my work if I didn't. There are many duties out in the country.
Yeah.
Ah, I understand. There are troublesome things to deal with in my industry too. Oh, but young girls flock to you after appearing on shows like that, don't they? Must have been great. You said you know I'm not into that sort of thing. So why would you assume that? Sorry. I didn't mean to make you upset. You don't seem very sorry. I think I get you more now. You're the type who values a woman's attention, aren't you?
Hold on.
As a man, I admit there are times when I do think about those things.
Oh.
I thought you'd deny it more. Nope, being honest and straightforward is one of my good points. Good points? I wasn't giving you a compliment. But I wouldn't show you my true nature, or my true self, if I didn't trust you. Being honest and straightforward with you is my way of showing love, you lying asshole. Honestly, the way you always talk about love is kind of sketchy too. I'm going to bed now. Yes, good night, Zen. I think my only disappointment with all of this is the characters are going to have very minimal, like, I'm going to say interactions, while they're, actually, like, truly friends-ish? I don't know, they definitely did the, like, actual friendship thing for a while.
Thanks for the meal.
Well, I don't hate it.
It's important to eat
Not
properly.
bad.
Let's see. Let's do Minimo and Rio.
I ate it in one
Thanks
bite.
for the grub.
Let's see. What was I gonna say? But, like, you know, I think I have this consistent problem where in a lot of these games with, This is a problem, because I don't want to give it to Sachika. Because that's creepy. I'm not sure if I want to give it... You know what? You own it. She probably would own it, though. Like, of all of the characters, she's the only one that would probably be, like, totally unfazed by walking around in lingerie.
Huh?
Okay, and let's save. So we've got all our prep work done. Next up, we go back in there and smack around probably Kurosuke again. Honestly, it wasn't so bad.